Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, everybody.
So tonight, we are reviewing a movie that just was released in 2021. Was that right?
Yeah, 2021, that's correct.
That's called There's Someone Inside Your House.
Funny thing, this.
It's a slasher horror, which I haven't seen a slasher horror, especially a modern one, for like ages. I know there's Halloween and we have Scream coming out here and there, but this is the first time where, off the cuff, that we get one that's an original story taken from a book or taken from someplace else, instead of just always either going back to the remakes or just trying our absolute hardest to try something new for us.
Yeah, well, it's an adaptation of the 2017 novel of the same name, written by Stephanie Perkins. Stephanie Perkins.
So it's been a while.
So it's actually, I'm not knocking people who create a storyline for a film.
Right.
Okay. But sometimes when you take it out of a novel, it's got more substance. I mean, I'm not saying every case. I don't want people sort of trying to sort of to get voodoo dolls off me and stick little needles in it and different things. But I find, take Walt Disney, right?
Right.
Walt Disney, years and years ago, started making films. You know, not the animated stuff, the real stuff. He made Treasure Island. So he got a novel and had a script made up and made a movie based on novel.
Yes, he did.
He had there's a slew of movies. There's Treasure Island, there's Kidnapped. I can't remember all the movies back. But he made good movies based on an already well-known story and a novel. So he had all the structure. All he had to do was get some talented writers to make a screenplay out of it. And this is a case where I think they've succeeded as well.
I mean, it has been a while since I've actually watched a slasher that doesn't deal with someone else's previous. That's either a remake or just a reboot, or even just plain old. Pretty much taken from another movie that they didn't even bother without bothering to do their own homework about.
Things like. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to do my little bits here. Okay, so then we get into telling the story. Okay, produced by Sean Levy, Dan Cohen, Michael Clear, and one of my favourite people, James Wan. Those of you who know James, he started off the Saw franchise.
So he's what is he?
He's one of the producers.
Wow, I guess they have good taste after all.
Well, he's been doing a lot of producing and directing and writing and he's been doing lots of good groovy things.
And some of these guys, as Mike said before, he has did
he's
his
one
own,
of my heroes.
He's one of our heroes who went out of Australia, took his own film project, and went to Hollywood.
He made a short, a sample, a 10-minute, whatever it was. I'm looking for a copy of it. I haven't got it.
Well, it's on YouTube.
Is it? Okay, I'll look at it.
You could just look it up.
And I'll have it because he made a short and he sent it to the production company in America after he couldn't get any satisfaction here. And they said, we'll bankroll you. And he directed it. And his mate, can't remember his name. Adam, whatever.
I could be wrong.
He starred in the main role, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, though, I do wish that. Never mind. I don't want to rub. I don't want to rub salt in the wounds again. As per usual.
It's all about Australian film, isn't it?
So let's just discuss.
I'm going down to do my thing now.
Let's discuss the other stuff.
Directed by Patrick Bryce. Screenplay was by Henry Gayden. It was based on the book by Stephanie Perkins. Okay, right, starring. Drumroll. Okay, here we go. There's a few people.
Goody.
I'm not going to go for any. I got a bit of a problem here because I don't remember all the names. I'm guessing who they are. Now, Sydney Park plays McCartney.
Our final girl.
Our final girl.
I think she's a final girl because way to the end, some of her friends are still alive, technically.
Yeah.
So, go on, Mike.
Okay, fine. So yeah, who's the final girl and the main star in the storyline? Okay, we've got Theodore Pellerin. He plays Ollie, her ex-boyfriend. Asher Cooper plays Alexandra, Alex Crisp, a musician, and Rodrigo's love interest. Yeah, okay, please, Rodrigo. Okay, anyway, Desi La Tourette plays Justin Darby, a strange little person. Diego Joseph plays Rodrigo Doran, Alexa's love interest who struggles with his I think fentanyl addiction. Oh, he's on drugs. Okay, right.
Yeah, I think I had a friend named Joseph spelt that way.
Well, it's Joseph or Joseph, depending what country they come from and how they pronounce the J.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Dale Wibley as Zach Sanford. He's a rich student. He's described. He's out there. He's a stoner. He's different other things.
He's described as the most hated kid in the world.
Yeah, because his dad is a big rich guy who gobbles up farm properties from everybody else and makes money out of it.
Don't get me wrong, guys. He's not the very high privilege, total jerk.
He's a privileged kid who's got a problem.
He's either not popular, considering he's considered a geeky type, and he hangs out with the geeky sort of types, like Justina and Alex and Rodrigo and what's the lead girl's name again? Sydney, obviously. Who? Sydney, the actress.
The main one.
Yeah, Sydney Parkins from the Park.
Dude, just going back to my Sydney Park. Yeah, what's McCartney?
McCartney. He hangs out with that's the outcast set, so to speak. Yeah. So he's not the popular kid in the group. He's not.
He's a fringe dweller.
Yeah, he's well, as you will soon see, you'll find out who I'm talking about.
Okay, here we go. Okay, Berkeley Duffield plays Caleb Greeley. He's a football player who's a friend of theirs. I won't go through too many other people here because they're more of a smaller roles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll leave it there, I think.
Yeah.
There's probably another dozen people there, but we don't really need to talk about them. These are the main people. So
and surprisingly enough, I don't hate them. I kind of enjoy them, the fact that they're a very nice, outgoing type of people. And if I had best friends, I would like to hang out with that set of people.
I wish I had friends like that. Anyway, do you want to tell the story now?
Might as well. So the story begins. A guy pulls up in his truck to his house. He's a football player, the usual quarterback types, who's making plans of going to a game that very evening.
Or a party or something or other.
Party.
No, it was a game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a game.
I'll see you in 4 hours, he said, and he's laid down for rest.
Yeah, he gets some Doritos, eats them, and he throws them away because his sister was licking them.
And they're a bit soggy, put them back in the packet.
Yeah. I'm glad my niece or nephew don't do that.
No, when it comes to bickies and stuff, it's all gone.
They always gobble them up before I get to them.
Yeah.
Even though I don't really eat them.
And don't get me started on hundreds of thousands.
Yes. They always eat those, by the mouthful.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sprinkles.
But then again, I haven't had any sprinkles since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
so it's
fairy bread's very, very nice.
So back to our story. After he goes up to his room, he sets his mobile phone to alarm, for 4 hours or whatever, and he lies down and has sleep. Then he wakes and he sees the egg timer that was up in the kitchen before is now placed in where his phone ought to have been.
Yeah, and his phone's gone for a walk.
Yeah, he goes downstairs, he sees the front door open, and he goes outside and he sees his truck gone. He goes back inside.
He must have been a deep sleeper.
Yeah. He then goes back inside, phones the police, but then he sees something that he wasn't there before he came in the kitchen. It was a photo of, I guess, off someone's phone, of him bullying another kid, obviously. And then we see more photos
stuck on
walls, floors, and stuff
and
until it reaches his parents' bedroom. And
they have a whole montage in there, wasn't there?
Well, it's in their wardrobe, and as he approaches them, he keeps yelling out that he actually has, I guess, one of his father's golf clubs.
Yeah.
And he plans on swinging at him because he says to the unknown individual, seeing as you're in my house, I have a right to bash you up.
And I can kill you. Yeah, they're a nice attitude.
And we see from a high angle that the killer is on beneath him, and he slashes his ankles.
He's Achilles tendons on both legs, mind you. Not a bad swipe, thank you. Yeah.
He falls down, and we see the killer, and he's wearing a special mask that looks
just like the
him.
guy on the floor.
Yeah. He approaches the kid, and then he throws the knife into his chest.
Very
killing
much
him.
So.
And then he takes his mobile phone, which he still has, and clicks and sends during a football game. The football game he was ought to have been there, but he sends a sort of a group message to everyone there with the photo or video footage from those photos of him another kid who was a football player being bullied by that kid.
Yes.
And when he's playing football, he's a football player too, and when he stops playing, he looks excited, looks at the crowd, and everyone's looking at him, and he's looking back, looking confused, like why they're not cheering like that. But then we cross over to the next day or whatever,
probably the next day.
Yeah, where the school is doing a memorial thingy at the school where they're putting get well. No, I mean, we wish you all the best. RSVP. I mean, not RSVP. RIP.
Rest in peace. Now, one of the girls put a get well soon. She said, I couldn't get a condolences card because they're out of them. So, yeah.
They probably ran out.
So I'd like to see a dead person get well. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, zombies. Anyway, so this girl is, what's her name's Sydney's name? I keep forgetting. I wouldn't mind if she had a different name to remember. So I'm sorry.
What's the matter? The main girl.
McCarney.
McCarney.
It's a little hard to pronounce.
No,
McCarney.
It's not. You're just not used to it. McCarney.
So McCarney puts the get well card on the thing and says, "What? They ran out of rest in peace cards." Her and her friends, that would be Justin, let me see, Rodrigo and Alex are with her, and they are all completely upset about their friend, that guy dying, because he's not a friend. He was just a guy who just bullied them in the hallways and schools and classrooms. So the only ones who miss him and try to do their best to say all the best to them is the football team, some of the football members, except for Jackson, who leaked information is all over the place. So everyone's not talking to him. I think they probably blame him for the murder because of the leaked footage. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Probably, yeah.
Well, it does seem to make sense. Anyway, during the cafeteria scene, he's not allowed to. He doesn't want to sit with his teammates, so he ends up sitting with the outcasts, and he begins to be friends to them mostly. And the girl, I think the student council president, whatever her name is, she's not a nice person. She acts sweet, but you could see how...
Katie. I didn't mention her before. Yeah, it's only been acted up.
She's not a nice person. You can tell by her the way she acts.
She's like, me. I want a wonderful, I'm going to be so good, I'm going to be proactive and everything else. It's the attention-getting sort of person.
She says a stupid, ridiculous... over-the-top speech where she says she plans on sending it off to university just to prep for her university application, whatever's. And it sounds like she was trying to be nasty to an out of the closet gay person in a nasty way.
She's sort of being nice-ish, but the way she came over, sound like she's telling everybody, hey, this guy's a closet gay. Yeah. And the point is, we don't know. I got a gut feeling she pretends to be nice, but she's really a bigot.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. She doesn't mention names. She just says that their initials. Their first initials, obviously. And some of the kids feel, just the outcasts feel like, oh my gosh, this is so but humiliating anyway.
Exactly.
I suspect that, never mind, I won't go into that. It seems just Jackson, I think it is a gay football player. It's suspected. And I guess that's why
he... beat him up.
Yeah, because they can be very nasty if someone comes out of the closet. There are people who don't respect or
okay, will you move on from the gay bit?
Sorry.
Okay, we're not doing a forum on gays here. We're doing a movie review.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Anyway, they keep wondering, doing the usual thing where they keeps expecting who might be the likely candidate for the murder. They think it's Oliver, another fellow outcast, and because they think he's a sociopath.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird and strange, and
it's not his. I mean, it's never mentioned what his past is. We only know is his brother is a deputy or one of the people who work in the police, obviously. So they probably think that he could get away with murder if you ask him nicely.
Please. Oh, okay. You can kill somebody, but don't make it too obvious. Okay. Nice? Happy?
Yeah. A lead girl lives with her grandmother. She used to live in Hawaii with her mum and dad.
There was a problem there.
Yeah.
There was an accident.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's an accident.
And she's sort of responsible for the death of a person she knew. It wasn't intentional.
No,
but she's been given a hard time since she came over to the mainland to live.
Yeah, and thanks to it caused her parents to maritally break up and divorce. And they blame her for the divorcee thing, and that's why she came out here.
Well, why do you blame somebody else?
So she takes her mother's maiden name, her surname, and that's where she changed her. She just tries to hide her past from everyone else.
I thought she changed the name so people couldn't find her.
That's true. Yes.
Because of the stigma attached to what happened in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But you could be right. I could be wrong.
Her grandma is suffering from a sleep disorder called sleepwalking.
Oh, yeah.
Which she's going to be going to a special sleep lab that will allow her will allow to help her probably get over the sleep problem first.
Yeah.
Maybe it will succeed. We don't know.
Wish I could sleepwalk.
No, I don't think I could.
Well, I don't sleep.
I think what you told me an interesting story about one of your relatives.
Two of my relatives. My brother and my cousin. Yeah. It does happen.
Yeah, it's creepy, and especially the fact when you're sleepwalking, your eyes are open and no one knows you're either asleep.
Yeah, and you can talk to people sometimes.
Yes.
Not always. Sometimes you don't. You're reenacting something, so don't you see them? But
my
brother talked to people. Yeah, when he was asleep.
A little bit like when people, when they're ghosts, they repeat the same process over and over again, but I guess that's the same thing with humans. Anyway, we cross over to when some of the Kate is organizing the altar for church. I think she's like one of the she's probably sort of assists at the church thing, so as an assistant. Yeah. Anyway, she's talking to a kid next to on upstairs. He's on the first level.
Up where the choir goes, if the old organ and stuff.
Yeah, she's going on about blah, 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 and stuff like that, a lot of crap. But then we see behind her, someone has put a podcast on the
person she was talking
PowerPoint
to.
Thingy.
She thought it was her friend. Her friend wasn't there. It was this person who was going to kill her.
Yeah. Somehow, anyway, someone hacked the PowerPoint and started playing her podcast where she's saying very racist and bigot stuff.
Yeah, the bit that she did in the cafeteria earlier on.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was a podcast, obviously, and actually, and according to her, she says it was a secret podcast where no one was meant to even know of it. Meaning she either put together a false account and put fake stuff on there.
Probably. Whatever.
Anyway, soon enough, the killer approaches her, and as he's approaching, he's wearing her face mask. And starts. He then chases her and cuts her belly,
abdomen.
And stupidly enough, I was saying this to Mike last night when we watched the movie. She starts crawling on her belly, and
underneath the church pews,
and you could see blood dripping
like
across
a snail
the floor.
trail,
And I don't mean to sound like a total moron, but. Well, actually, I think she was a moron more than me, but I think that would just be a dead giveaway to
would you just stand there and say, "Oh, she'll be right," and just stab me again, or were you trying to crawl away?
Yeah, well, true.
I'd crawl away.
But it's leaving like the expression, a paper trail to the killer.
Like Hansel and Gretel, the breadcrumbs. Yeah.
The breadcrumbs. I guess this is. I was thinking about this movie last night, and it made me think of Hansel and Gretel, the paper trail, and the breadcrumbs, where in this case...
And she gets up.
She gets up and enters the...
run into a confessional trying to hide.
room, and there she tries to use the phone to call the police. And while the killer's stabbing in the door, of course, when she finally says that the stalker's coming and he's doing whatever, he then he kind of comes from behind her from the confessional box and pushes her into the blade of the knife
which had already stuck through the wall of the confessional, so it went straight through her mouth. And she dribbled.
Yeah. Then the priest arrives and unlocks the church, and there her body is protrude from the ceiling.
Yes, it was strung up. He must have a bit of time to do this. He strung her up just in front of the altar.
Yeah, gross.
That's how evidence there. Yeah.
Then, of course, the police call in the students and start interrogating each one of them one by one. And of course, Zach, being the wealthy kid with a nasty wealthy father.
The daddy's a well-known mover and shaker in the community.
Yeah, not so nice.
Daddy can do no wrong.
His son was allowed. He was allowed to go, obviously, and he gives him he gives him a hard time in the scene.
Daddy.
It's not like the usual, "Oh, you should stay away from these people." Blah
blah blah. Dad doesn't like his son's behaviour and the people he hangs out with, and the son don't clearly like your daddy.
No, he despises him.
Yeah.
Anyway, also it's engraved on his car. It seems
it's spray painted.
Spray paint or whatever they used. I don't know. Anyway, soon enough, our lead girl gets her turn, and of course Ollie's father. I mean, all of his fathers. Uncle. Brother. I keep forgetting. It's his brother. Goodness gracious!
Brother.
It's practically said it several times. So his brother interrogates her, and he asks her, like, "Are you friends of the two people that got killed?" And of course, she never even associated with them because she probably never. Some of the kids knew of the fact that she was running a sort of a podcast that was, and now it's been released on, it's out in the open now that everyone knows about her nasty bigot podcast. So everyone knows now. So it seems that the killer is attacking people with big secrets. In this case,
exactly right.
Like the first one was he was bullying Jackson because of his gay hair and stuff.
He was beating up this gay guy, so he said, "I don't like you, so I'll get you."
Then there's Kate, who was a bit of a bigot who was saying nasty things on a podcast.
Yeah, so you got her.
And anyway, so you guys know, the sheriff has announced that there will be a curfew, meaning
8 o'clock, was it? 8 o'clock curfew at night, so everyone inside. Yeah.
Oliver gives our lead girl lift back to her place, and there they probably make out and about to do the dirty deed, but actually a few kids start running past them, we think, and then we find out that they're heading towards Zach's place for sort of
They're going to have a party, an unofficial party.
Yes, there they are. They kind of talk about their secrets. How Alex has a thing for Rodrigo, and Rodrigo has a thing for her. And
lovely.
Oh yeah, and Justina tells her friends that she's been accepted into as a scholarship or internship for NASA, I think it was, she said.
Yeah, she's into space stuff here.
Yeah, well, that's what she says. Anyway, so let me see. I think they go on about Oliver and say that he's the guy because he is he has that stalkery face. Of course,
it's always the ones that look hard.
Yeah, they always seem to be nasty to him. I mean, don't they ever know that being nasty to the to something like that could cause them to break and snap and then go on a killing spree?
So you be nice to me.
Anyway, Rodrigo and Alex go off. Oh, before I get to that, Zach tells everyone about his father's collection of Nazi stuff that he transforms into bongs.
Bongs, B-O-N-G-S, not bombs.
Yeah.
Yes, and he puts on a gas mask. He goes inhale, and he blows out a puff of smoke. And I think there's a bugle there, and there's something else.
Yeah. You see, so each one of them grabs something and starts smoking getting high. Then we get to Rodrigo and Alex. They go off on their own to do a bit of
wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Anyway, suddenly something happens, and then after they are done doing the dirty deed, she goes off somewhere while Alex is she notices some pills on the floor.
His pills.
Yeah, and
he's on his whatever it's called. He takes some crappy pills.
Yeah, some crappy pills.
Fentanyl, I think. Yeah.
Okay, fentanyl. Yeah. So anyway, suddenly everyone start getting a beep beep on their phones, and they all look down and see, oh no, that they see Rodrigo's pills and assume that he's a junkie.
A junkie. He's not a junkie. Well, he might be a junkie. He could be. If he's been on these fentanyl, which could be painkillers, he could have been on painkillers originally for pain, but he's become addicted to them.
Yeah. Then kids start seeing the slasher killer and start panicking. They start running, and they notice that right away that he's taking on the mask appearance of Rodrigo. And Rodrigo...
I believe the person has been using a 3D printer.
Yeah, I think...
photographs of the people to make the mask. Lovely.
I believe he's using yearbook photos. I saw it in the opening credits. Someone taking the photos from a yearbook and start manipulating them in whatever machine or whatever program that you use to make something like that. Don't know how.
Hence a 3D image.
Anyway, so he chases Rodrigo into a room and he tries to get him, but then then Rodrigo climbs to an air vent and he tries to get away. Of course, the stalker starts stabbing in different parts of the air vent. Good enough. I was remarking to Mike how it reminds me a little bit of Jurassic Park, where you get chased down by the velociraptor in that movie.
Well, he was being chased down. Yeah.
So he eventually gets to the other side of the event and he climbs out. Fortunately, as he's running down the path out, the killer takes out a taser, a police taser.
Yeah, police taser. Actually, the policeman, when they're interviewing the kids before, mentioned, "Oh, has anyone seen my taser?" Or we don't know who's talking to. His taser had gone missing, but we didn't know who took it.
Yeah.
However, it's been put to good use.
Yeah. Anyway, he then Rodrigo stumbles into the fountain, and the killer approaches, stuffs the pills down his throat, and then, sort of slits his throat.
Yeah, well, make up your mind. Either give him the pills or slit his throat. He can't swallow off his cut throat, can he?
No.
How stupid.
Anyway, then that's another one, and Alex is sad, and the rest of the group are sad that they lost a very good member of their group, sadly.
Oh, dear.
But
easy,
it doesn't
easy,
stop
go.
the high school from moving on. They kind of feel... of course, one of the football players, he gives a picture of, to the group saying, sorry about your loss of your friend.
Yeah, he drew a picture,
Quick sketch.
It wasn't bad.
It was not bad.
Better than one of yours.
Hey, don't knock my drawing ability.
Now, Sarah's a very good artist too.
Yeah, anyway, the rest of the school feel like they seem to move on in the worst kind of way when you think about it.
That's a possible way. Don't dwell on this sort of stuff.
Hey,
life goes on.
Well, anyway, that's not how the group feels. So anyway, they continue to suspect Oliver because of these connections to the police and his brother being a policeman, and the fact that he was the last one to remain at the police station. And that's when his brother asked them whether or not have they seen his taser. But then again, he was interviewing several students and stuff
and he'd been sitting there all afternoon over near the door, and he wasn't anywhere near his brother's office.
Yes, exactly. So, except for our lead girl, she's the only one who does not think that Oliver is remotely involved. A bad person, of course.
Well, they used to be an item,
Because they continue condemning him without evidence of a fact that we don't know if he was a sociopath or anything like that. They just keep assuming that. We don't even have...
Yeah, a big word.
Yeah, we don't even have any backstory into his past. Yeah. We only learn much later when he was with her that his parents, who were drinking or drugged, I don't know.
They were drunk, I think he said. I think drunk.
Drunk or
And
drunk.
they had a car accident, they both died.
Yeah, so he lives with his brother, and that's his story, even though that's not a sociopath story. That's more of a, I lost my parents, and that's the end for me. Anyway, she goes back home. Her grandma's already out because she's going to do that sleep therapy thingy.
Yes, at the sleep lab.
She then goes up to her room. She actually locks her room and takes one of the kitchen knives and lies down and takes a little nap. Then we later see that the door is ajar because she could put a chair against the door.
Yeah, we jammed on the door handle so no one can actually open the door.
Yeah. Her phone's gone.
Didn't work.
And she heads downstairs, and when she gets down there, she sees photos of her friend who was badly burnt, and we also see a very massive fire in her fireplace. And as she approaches the fire, we see all around the room the photos, and on the floor in front of her is sort of police.
You know how they mark out where a body was found lying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then
hint.
Yeah. And then we see the killer, wearing her face, and he breaks through the glass, and he approaches her, tasing her. She falls, and he begins to pour gasoline over her, I think.
Or something, some sort of accelerant, yeah.
And he makes the plan of burning her. Oh, yeah, I should mention there was a newspaper article that was on the spot where her body would have been, with the police tape around it, obviously.
Yeah.
And it said the part about her and her friends were involved in a fire accident.
Exactly.
Anyway, but soon enough her friend arrives, and the killer eventually quickly makes his escape, and he drops his mask, I think. I think he drops the mask.
He doesn't need it now.
Anyway, then she's taken to hospital. There she tells her story to her friends, and she also starts believing that Oliver is possibly the killer now. She believes he is capable. She then tells them about how she and a few of her friends were hazed because she was a sport athlete in where she was years ago, and they were hazing them.
What's hazing mean?
It means doing a sort of punishment type test, like they do in sororities, where that's a hazing ritual.
Okay, enough. I know what you mean now. I did not know what haze meant. Okay.
They start giving them alcohol and stuffing nasty food in their face, and punishing them. And when they wanted them to fight it out between the players, the teammates. Yeah. And then when she accidentally pushes the girl into the fire. Of course, she survives, and she got bad scars. But after this, her mother and father, they divorced. I think they were on the border. They were on the edge of getting divorced. But this sort of kind of was the stick that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. So this has caused them to divorce, even though they were on the border of getting divorced. So that was not her fault.
Nah.
Anyway,
always blame the kiddies.
She changed her surname, which was Sun Wu, I think it was.
Yeah, she changed it to Young, wasn't it?
Yeah. So and then she decides to put a lid on her past and move on. Of course, her friends say, "We understand. It was an accident.
Shit happens and you die."
Stuff like that. Yeah. And they then tell her that it's all right. And anyway, so they get in a group hug, kind of nice. Later on, Zach's father is announcing a corn maze thingy-wing in his sort of. The maze, the farm place he's bought up. He bought up like several different parts of
different farms around the area. So he's a big property holder there, and there's a big paddock of corn or something right near the school. Yeah,
all the schools is about to attend this event. Of course, our lead girl is waiting for her friends to take her there, even though there's still a killer running loose and running into a maze. Doesn't sound like so safe.
Nah.
Of course, the wealthy guy, he says that the sheriff and the police are not doing their job, so he's hired security to secure the place.
Protect everybody, so everybody can have a good time. What a nice man.
So she's waiting out, then Oliver appears, and she kind of quickly runs back into the school, and when she gets back in there, she sees Jackson, and she embraces him, but then he gets stabbed
through the back, and it comes right out for his tummy, and she almost got stabbed. That was not a bad thrust.
Fortunately, the killer hands her the knife. The
bloody knife.
And he has
fingerprints value.
Then we hear Oliver behind her, which means he's not guilty. He's not the culprit.
See?
Her friends arrive too.
It's always the one you least expect.
They quickly call for an ambulance, and it seems that Jackson's not badly hurt. He's just got, I think...
They miss vital organs.
Yeah, so he's actually just stabbed in a place that does not will heal up some time in the near future.
We certainly hope so.
We hope so. Anyway, the kids realize that the killer's going to strike the maze, and of course, when they get down, as they're getting down there, as they're talking about the maze and stuff like that, they talk about how many farms this guy has paid for. Like, he kind of bought several mazes.
He bought a lot of people out really cheaply, and he's making a bucket loads of money out of them.
Yeah, including all of his...
Good businessman that way.
Including all of his brother's land that he bought up.
That's right,
yeah. Total asshole. Anyway, soon enough, the killer arrives, and he walks past a bunch of people who are about to enter without even getting noticed by security.
Well, he had a hoodie on. Remember, he's always wearing a hoodie?
Yeah. And
so no one knows his face.
He was also wearing a very big, large sword in the back of his back. Like, he's carrying a sword.
Well,
like it was the most it was the naturalist thing in the world. Like, that was the case. If this was Halloween, it would be a different story. But this is not Halloween in this one. So he heads inside. He takes the lighter fluid. That's it, lighter fluid.
A big container, like a liter or something.
I think it's lighter fluid.
Or something like that, yeah.
And he starts, dosing the floor with it and ground with it.
In the cornfields, no floor.
Yeah. And he takes out the he takes out a match and it starts lighting.
He left a trail of the lighter fluid around, so it actually encircled some of the paddock where the partygoers were. How's that?
Yeah, the kids soon arrive, and the place is totally whoa.
Yeah, people running out, but who's stuck inside? The football team.
Yeah, of course. Before they get the kids head in there, she asks Oliver, "Is your car is a?"
You said it's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Can we burn it?
Yeah. So they actually drive straight into it.
Yeah, to try and make a pathway through that wouldn't work actually.
No, I suppose not.
But see, the problem is you go through it, you're probably okay,
you
and you get to the other side, it might be, say, 20 or 30 metres in, but the track you cleared will just reignite.
That's what I was thinking too.
Also,
there's the chance that the car itself could get.
It would if you stayed too long. But if you went through it really, really quickly for about 20, 30 metres, you'd probably get out of it and jump out of the car.
Yeah,
And if the car's not on fire, you might be okay.
Yeah. So soon enough, they get to the other side and they see some of the football players, and they gesture to. They get Justina and Alex to lead them out. Of course, our leading girl decides to go and try to find the stalker. They eventually find him, meeting Zach's father there, and they approach them, and then the stalker stabs Zach's father in the chest, and when he collapses, the killer's like, "No, I had this horrible speech to get laid out, blah, blah, blah." It turns out the killer in this movie is Zach all along.
He hated his father and hated the people around him, so he wanted. We get the impression that the idea was to kill his dad.
Yeah,
but he was killing some of the other people around as well. To take the if he just killed his dad, everyone's going to say, maybe his son did it.
Yeah, this makes me think of. I was telling Mike this yesterday that it made me think of the ABC murders. Like A and B would not be actually likely what the killer intends to kill, but
the next one.
But the next one is likely what he intends to kill.
Movie? Yeah, come on.
And
All
so,
right.
thanks to our heroes, it kind of he ruined his big moment to
his 5 minutes of fame. Yeah,
trying to make out that he wanted to tell his father that he was wrong or stuff like that. But now he's trying to pin the blame on our girl because of her shady past, even though we already know her shady past. It was an accident.
Shady, it was an accident. That's the whole point.
It was an accident.
You killed somebody, so they'll look at that and say maybe when she killed the other person accidentally, it wasn't an accident. That's why he's trying to use her. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, quickly Oliver tries to use the taser on him, but he misses twice. And
he wasn't feeling well.
Yeah. And eventually, our leading girl was able to use she still had the knife that Zach gave her, and she was able to stab him in the chest. And she remarked to him that she does not need to wear a mask to do this.
Yeah.
Because she, unlike him, who is hiding his face and trying to take on the appearance of others.
Yeah.
For his own gain, she can do it without having to use a mask to do this. Anyway, she stabs him twice, and
he doesn't get up.
Then we hear in the distance the police coming, and
probably
probably an ambulance too. And then we cross to I guess a few months later. The kids are gone over the whole incident. Justina is going off to NASA. Alex has got accepted into her music's university thingy-wing. Jackson's got into a university that possibly he's going to, I think. And let me see. And Oliver and her are going to prom together, I think it was.
Yeah, dressed up in a suit and an evening gown.
Yeah.
He looked so good in an evening gown, didn't he? Oh, no, wrong way around. Sorry.
And we then see her doing a sort of graduation speech to the crowd, talking about her experience. Also, I should mention she's into poetry, meaning she might go off to writers' university or something, creative writing classes and whatever.
Stuff.
And she also contacts her friend, the girl I mentioned who got burned. and hopefully may get in contact with her and maybe burn the hatchet or bury the hatchet.
Bury the hatchet. Burn the hatchet as well.
Then we cut to the credits and we fade out.
Blah, blah, blah,
the
blah,
end.
Blah. Okay, right. I'm not going to say too much about this because
I'm sorry,
you did waffle on a bit. Okay.
I'm sorry, but there were some interesting scenes in this. Some relative, some of
Yeah,
it not so relative. Some very important too.
I'm going through my notes here real quickly. Yeah, right. Okay, no, that's not important. Okay, let's get down to the important parts.
Right.
Okay, reception.
It's like I hear.
I get the impression, I'll give you a general consensus on all of them, average.
Oh, I see.
No, that's what these people, aggregators, or Rotten Tomatoes, that got about 47%.
Okay.
Likeable cast, strong set pieces. They think it's messily misguided story, but that's just their opinion. On Metacritic, the film made an average of 45 out of 100 as well. Janet Katsoulis of the New York Times said, in trying to have it both ways, Bryce has created a messy, overstuffed parody of moral policing and squanders the promise of its cleverly executed opening.
Opening?
The beginning of it, you know. Whatever. Benjamin Lee of The Guardian gave it 2 stars out of 5. They say director is so distracted with trying to be of the moment that he forgets to make his film base level fun, or at times even base level coherent. So they're probably saying they didn't like the storyline. It didn't work for them. Okay, Michael Nordine of Variety wrote that the film was more refreshing than it should be, and added, the success of Someone, this is a movie, he didn't put all title in, hinges on the fact that it ultimately embraces the future rather than clinging to the past. Matthew Jackson of Looper wrote, while it doesn't carry the meta-textual cleverness of Scream, the genre-bending zaniness of Freaky, or the timeless feel of Halloween, there's something instantly and tremendously appealing about There's Someone Inside Your House. So
I don't know about you, Mike, but I think
that's good. But he's been the only one who's actually said it.
I got to admit that he kind of knows exactly what we're talking about.
But he said it doesn't carry all the other good bits. It's got some other good bits in it.
But I do like the fact that this slasher killer, instead of just wearing one mask, he wore
a face mask of the person he was going to kill.
Yes, but he took on many masks, like of different people he was going to kill. Like instead of just one, it's usually multiple masks.
Yeah. Anyway.
As I said before, he was using yearbook photos and probably some newspaper photos, or considering that he probably got his dad's one from any photo album out there.
Exactly. Anyway, now, okay, I won't go too much more on this because I've got a bit of a sore throat today.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah. Now, okay, I like the movie. It's not bad. Could be a tad better. Yes, I thought it did meander a bit here and there occasionally, but there's no so much you can do with these movies. You can't say, let's go there and kill everybody in the first 5 minutes. So, bearing that in mind, I'm going to give it about a 9.
I'm going to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10 myself.
Now, where do you get it? This is the hard bit.
Yeah, it went directly to Netflix, folks. And I don't know if it's still there.
Excuse me.
Because Netflix
it was distributed by Netflix. Okay.
Because Netflix has a habit of keep removing stuff.
Every so often they'll purge their system and put other movies on. Now here we go. eBay doesn't have any. Amazon doesn't have any. YouTube, Hulu, and there's another place there you can get a copy of it. I believe. Now, as a last resort, if you can't get it through any streaming service,
you can get the book.
Sure. If you can't get it for your favourite streaming service or somewhere else, I would then say, do a torrent download, because I know it's out there. You can get a copy of it as a torrent download, but use that as a last resort, because it's not really legal to do it that way. But if you can't get it on Netflix or anywhere else like that, it's a good watch. And if they're really making money out of it, then be a problem. But if it's been hidden, go and get the torrent. Done, finished.
Yeah, and as I said before,
or get your friend to do it.
If you want to do more than just watch this movie and all that stuff, and want to know a little bit more about the characters themselves,
there's a book.
There's the book. Obviously, you can go and buy it on. I imagine you can go.
I watched the book and it was boring.
What?
I watched the book and it was boring. I just sat there doing nothing. It was a joke. I just watched the book. Okay, my humour is wasted.
Yes, anyway, so the book might be a good way to go. So, I mean, I've never seen a slasher book myself. I mean, the only other two ones I can remember that still come to mind is let me see, there was the sort of one based off, that was sort of for that, I Know What You Did Last Summer, that was sort of a book. And
oh, yeah.
And Teaching Mrs. Tilly something or other.
No,
or it's called Mr. Teaching Mr. Griffin. It's sort of a like home invasion / nasty thing that happens to a teacher. Sort of a little bit like that Hell High movie. A little bit dealing with a bunch of disruptive kids who try to bully a teacher.
I'll take your word for it. Anyway, anything else?
I think that's everything I can think of.
I can't think of anything else. Look, it's a good movie. It's different. I like different.
Yeah, same here.
It doesn't follow the same formula totally. I like the twist in it. Look, it wasn't a huge twist, but you had the guy you didn't expect to be the killer. That's been used. But his motive, he really hated his dad and was going to kill his dad, but he killed the other people there because he thought they were problems too, so he thought he'd kill them first, then kill Dad, and no one was suspecting. So that's not about stuff like the ABC murders, different things. It's been done, but bring that into a slasher film and different things. Yeah. I think it works. Yeah.
Well, that's the sort of thing that often comes up in normal slashers. Like, I know some of these filmmakers, they come up with these concepts from from books like that. How does a killer do the approach? Does he go directly to the horse's mouth and kill the intended victim they have in mind, or do they go after people that they found annoying or cross them in the past? They decide to dig up their past. I gotta admit, I liked it that he kind of knew about everyone's secrets and was able to do them as a group message thing to everyone, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Digging up their histories, and just after they kill the victim, upload it on just message everyone on it, obviously.
Yeah, so I don't know how was doing it through like Facebook Messenger or TikTok, or it's just showing up on their phones.
Yeah.
So, but he must have had I don't know. He must have got everybody there, and it's not like a group. You know how you group contacts, and just upload all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he must. He was very, very busy, wasn't he?
Yeah. I felt sorry for our leading girl, obviously Sydney, where she had to be put in the middle of it all, and at the same time, Zach, even though that was an accident technically. She was not responsible for her friend's accident, and she's still alive technically.
Okay. Yeah, well, there you go then. Okay. Finish. Okay. True. Okay, right.
And I gotta admit, it's a good twist instead of the usual. It's kind of nice and refreshing that they just bring a new type of slasher in this mix. For a while, I thought we would continue with parodies for the rest of our lives, like the whole Tragedy Girls,
that was fun.
Or another Leslie Vernon type of slasher
killer.
I
like that. The Rise and Fall, or whatever. It was Leslie Vernon.
Yeah.
That was great.
I mean,
Have we done that?
Yeah, we've already done it.
Pity, man.
I was worried that we'd continue with parodies until we die.
I like parodies.
Well, I like parodies too, Mike. It's just that I would love to see an actual slasher that does not have to...
You want a fresh idea occasionally.
A fresh idea.
Yeah.
And it's nice that this woman who wrote this book was able to put together something like this at her own convenience. Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, it's good. I liked it. Anyway,
irrespective. So, as Mike says, if you can't find it anywhere else...
if worse comes to worse, it's available as a torrent at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, God, I did have a look around because I would be the first person to say don't download torrents. But I look for a lot of old movies which are public domain and stuff, and I know they're out there, so you can get them. But the newer movies which are available to pay for streaming or buy a copy of it or whatever, well, do it the legal way first. But if you can't get it the legal way because it's no longer there, then, well, okay, to me, take a torrent way because, I mean, if they were making money out of it, it'd still be out there and it'd be available to the public.
Yeah, anyway, it's worth seeing, guys.
Yeah.
So that's it from us, guys. Be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you think of this movie.
Exactly.
Obviously. And let us know whether or not you think it's worth, checking out, obviously. So anyway, that's about it from us all. So... we'll see you guys next time on our next podcast episode. Oh, and be sure to check out my latest movie review thing I'm doing at the moment, where I'm going to do a vlog series called Fangirl, obviously.
Well, there you go. I can't wait to see some myself.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So I'll be sure to let you guys know what I've got planned. I'm sure that by the time this comes out, you probably have already seen the first episode by then. So... I hope you guys have a good weekend, guys, and I'll see you guys next time on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now.
Goodbye, guys.